Welcome back to the Afia Morning Show. Our guest is here, finally, Ozo Igbonekwu Ogazimora, former Commissioner for Information, Enugu State, Editor-in-Chief SBSGREAT Interviews, and an attorney at law, as we discuss the debates around ethnicity and Enugu State. We're going to be towing the line of two major trends this week, two major stories involving the commander of the Enugu State Forest Guard, appointed by the state's governor, Dr. Akimbayo Olasoji, who is also a retired Deputy Commissioner of Police, and another individual that's also been in the news for his ethnicity and his poor execution of a contract involving 22 Enugu Smart Green Schools, Mr. Sijibomi Okundele. Thank you so much for joining us this morning, Ozo. So good to have you as always.
Thank you. Welcome.
Right, so wrapping up the week with the two major trending issues. Okay. And right now we're towing the line of ethnicity because that has been at the helm of conversations for Enugu. Let's begin with the most recent, the Enugu State Forest Guard commander. People are asking why he's Yoruba, but we did have him on the morning show, and he mentioned that one of his parents is actually Igbo, and that he lived a lot of his youth and, of course, childhood in Enugu, and that he knows the terrain, he knows the state. But, of course, people are still wondering why a Yoruba man should be handling the Enugu State Forest Guard. What's your take?
Okay, thank you very much. Before we go into it, right, let's look at a little bit of history. You know, when Nnamdi Azikiwe came back from the United States, he started his politics in Lagos. He gained ground a lot and actually controlled the politics in Lagos. Then when Awolowo came back from the United Kingdom, Awolowo was looking for a foothold, what to lean on, how to form his own basis. And he brought in tribalism in politics. He now told the Yorubas, why should an Igbo man come and be this and be that? And that was how tribalism started in politics in Nigeria. Then that 1951 debacle in the Western House, where Zeke was going to be the premier of Western region, but overnight there was cross-carpet, and he lost out. That dawn. Remember then, in 1949, an Hausa man was elected the mayor of Enugu, Umaru Artine, the mayor of Enugu. An Hausa man was elected in Onitsha, for Onitsha province, as the representative in the House of Chiefs. A Yoruba man was elected in Port Harcourt as the mayor of Port Harcourt. His deputy was Mark Ebu, an Igbo man. So things were going very well. Then recently, you just have this paranoia about Igbo man in Lagos. Ordinarily, the Igbo man doesn't give a damn who is where, especially if there is efficiency. The Igbo man is individualistic, and the individualistic person is usually proficient, usually creative, usually productive. So if he sees a productive person, he works with that person, no matter where the person comes from. Now, this matter introduced in Lagos, it is the repercussion you are having here. Ordinarily, no Igbo man would have given a damn. And let me tell you this. There was a time somebody said, and by personal experience, I accepted it. The best commissioners of police you have had in Enugu were non-Igbo. Each time he had an Igbo, he had an interest, and he was not going to be objective. So our people never bothered about where the commissioner is coming from, but they are more relaxed with non-Igbos as commissioners of police, and that has been ongoing. Nobody would have said a word about the commander, if not what is happening in Lagos.
What do you think about Dr. Olasoji, the commander of the Forest Guard?
Yeah, the background he gave about himself is good, but then that's not the issue. The issue is competence, right? Kidnapping is a trade that has developed in Nigeria, an obnoxious trade that has developed. And it is something everybody will be happy to be dead. Now, if he is capable, that would be a different matter, and that would be a welcome matter. But the fact that he's a Yoruba man, it angers people because of what is going on in Lagos. And to me, I think it is going to fizzle out, especially when he begins to show his efficiency. In the absence of his efficiency, people will be reminded that he's a Yoruba man, right? So it is actually a challenge to him to quickly show efficiency, remove those kidnappers from our bushes, from the roads. There's a part of my town in our home, you can't freely go there now. They kidnap there almost every day. The local government chairman had gone clear the bushes around the place, but they are still operating there. They are still capturing people, collecting 25 million, collecting 9 million, collecting 30 million, and so on and so forth. If somebody now efficiently removes it, and people are now free to go to the farms, to go to their farms. It's not really far away from the village, just less than a kilometer. And indeed, just about where you have the development center headquarters.
You mentioned that people would only remember that he's a Yoruba man if he eventually does not do what he says and what he's been appointed to do. So it ties us straight to this situation concerning Sujimoto's CEO, right? People are now saying that why should a Yoruba man be given 22 smart green schools to do? So he has faulted, he has done badly, he has disappointed Enugu and the state government as well. And now his ethnicity has also been thrown up. He's a Yoruba man. Why him? So could you just briefly tell us your take? Unfortunately, we're already almost out of time, but if you can just summarize it so we can call it today.
There are two reasons why his matter is coming up. His matter is coming up, one, because of the issue happening in Lagos. You know, recently, just a few days ago, somebody said he was going to be OP of Lagos, and the person has been arrested. Those things are not. An individual can take up any name. When I was detained, somebody in our cell was answering IBB. Nobody killed him. Even the police were calling him IBB. That's Babangida. It was IBB. So somebody taking up a nickname is not the reason you will turn against a whole ethnic group who are doing their work in Lagos, who are working, who are not disturbing you. That is one. Secondly, the Sujimoto's thing, what people don't know is that there may be reasons Peter Mba picked him. You know, many people don't know that funding elections can be huge. You don't know who funded his campaign. You don't know why he went to select him. And secondly, let me tell you this, no insult intended. Peter Mba is a Yoruba man whose parents are Igbo, right? Peter Mba started in the rural Yoruba. He went to Wode Secondary School and then everything in Lagos. He has not actually been an Igbo man. So when you say practicing Igbo, you cannot say Peter Mba is a practicing Igbo, right? I'm not saying he's an Igbo man, but I'm trying to tell you the inner texture of his
you're not saying he's a Yoruba man.
Yeah, he is a Yoruba man who bears an Igbo name, right? Then you must excuse him because you don't know who contributed what in the funding of his governorship electioneering. It can be expensive, no less than 70 billion, maybe more than that, right? So if he gives contract to somebody who is not an Igbo man, there may be reasons, right? But then there is something we call speculative effect in disbursement of public funds. If you give me money now, give me a contract where I'll make some profits, there will be speculative effect. That speculative effect is that without my profit, when I go to my village to build a structure, I'll hire bricklayers from there. I'll hire painters from there. I'll hire other laborers from there. I'll hire electricians around, and so on and so forth. That is the speculative effect. But when you give it to a non-Igbo who takes the profit to his own region, that speculative effect, again, is going to that place. It's sufficient to say that people fall within this principle in advertising. envy is right.
All right. I mean, we're already out of time, unfortunately, but you've made some really interesting allegations. I mean, Sujimoto, I mean, there's no confirmation that he funded anybody's campaign. You know,
You will never have confirmation.
there will be no, and exactly, we don't have that confirmation, especially as, you know, he seems as if he came for a 69-story building. So I don't know. And unfortunately, we're already out of time. So we have to call it a day. But I'm sure we'll expand on this conversation. Because you came with one conspiracy like that. But
there's no conspiracy
theory.
That prison needs to be looked into.
I don't know. I mean, like you said, we can never know, but we also don't have those facts.
I'm only trying to tell you that somebody who grew up in a region will naturally have friends in that region.
Yeah.
And when he begins to do things,
but having a friend is different from that having that person fund your campaign. I mean, I'm not sure that someone who is owing his employers, or rather, sorry, his employees. Sujimoto was owing his employees. I mean, there are reports everywhere online. I'm not sure if you'll be able to fund the 70 billion naira campaign. But let's leave it at that. Thank you, Ozo, for joining.
Not only him.
Before the show goes on.
It doesn't have to be one person.
Well, I mean, I don't know. He's owing his employees. That's what I know. And they came out to cry out. All right. On behalf of the entire production team of the Afia Morning Show and Afia TV, let's say thank you for watching. We will expand on this conversation sometime next week. I remain your host until then, Nathalie Uku.
And I remain Oji Nwachuku. Have a splendid Friday and a weekend ahead. Bye for now.
Thank you.